Hello everybody and welcome back. This will be a video of how I clean my pistols, and we're going to be cleaning the CZ P01. And before I start, I want to just show you, I had just shot, which if you saw the last video of the targets, I had just shot, and yes, this firearm is safe, it's been checked. 200 rounds through this, and it worked flawlessly. But if you notice at the front, see that front? See the carbon dust, gunpowder dust, which is, that's normal. Everybody gets that, you get that. What I usually do first, because of that dust, and I don't want to use, because for me, some things, get expensive, and I don't like using a ton of chemicals and all that to get that off. So what I'm going to do, it's dust. What I do is I'll take a paintbrush like this. Now this just happens to be new. I found it downstairs. Usually I would get something a little bit smaller, like a 1-inch. And I get it, it's soft like this so it doesn't scratch anything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this gun, I'm going to break it down, which I'm not going to show it on camera, because if I show it on camera, YouTube will probably block it on me showing me breaking this down. They could possibly do that. I don't want any strikes. It's a relatively new channel, and I'm trying to avoid problems. So me taking it apart and putting it back together, I won't show. But I will show you me cleaning it and how I clean it. And you can always watch other videos of, how that is, how this is field stripped and put back together. You just look up CZ P01. You can also look up other people's videos of how they clean their firearms. So, and I basically probably do it the same way. There's only a few ways that you can do it. My only thing is I leave it a little bit more dry than a lot of other people do. But this, I'm going to have a little bit more oil on it because I'm going to have it put away for a little bit until I get a chance to get back out and shoot it again. So I don't want anything to start to rust. So, but the one thing that I will do is I'll show you, because you can see the carbon and the gunpowder dust and all that that's on it. So instead of using a bunch of chemicals to get that off, because when I open this, there could be inside the slide, you might see some dust. Over here where the trigger assembly is, you might see some dust. And I can show that to you. But before I do that, I'm going to want to go outside so that I don't get this all over my hand, because there could be lead and all that stuff. What I usually do is I'll take this and this outside of the outside of the gun, I'll take this brush and I'll hit the outside of the gun and brush it all off, with an action like, like you're trying to beat the brush out. I'll do it like that and brush that stuff off. And then I'll come in and then I'll break it down, and then any individual pieces, like the barrel, depending on how much dust is on the barrel, I'll brush that down. The guide rod and the spring I'm not worried about. And then the internal of the slide and the internal of the frame, I might just hit them, brush them out and all that real fast before I start to use any chemicals. But I'll show you how dirty the inside had got after shooting just 200 rounds. It might not have gotten that dirty because I left it dry, except for a little bit of LSA on the rails. So let me go do this, and everything will be an instant in time for you. So I'll be back. Okay, we've broken it down, and I can show you here. There's the barrel, and as you can see on the glove, there's a little bit, not much. The front there will be. You can see the feed ramp is definitely, the feed ramp in the back has definitely got dust on it. As I wipe that, you can see it coming off. You can see the darkness, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. A lot of this will brush off. I already showed you the outside of the slide. We'll brush some of that. The inside, you can see there's a little bit there, but not too much. Not too much dirt at all. There's a little bit, but not much, and I'll dust that off. As for the inside of the frame, there's a little bit, but hardly nothing. You see it on the end here, but you don't see a lot on the inside. That's because it was left dry like CZ says to leave it. And I'll be able to get in here and clean some of this dust and all that kind of stuff and some of that dirt. And I'll clean all that out, wipe it out and all that kind of stuff that's on the inside there. A little bit of dust and all that. But I will be back. I'm going to go hit this with a brush and wipe some of this dust off before I start using chemicals and all that. As for the magazines look good. They don't look too dirty. They'll get a little wiped down, but they're not bad. Not bad at all. 15 round magazines. I'm going to have to get some more of these. But you can definitely see where the black is starting to come off in the barrel. You can see it. That's not metal wearing out. That's the coating wearing off and all that stuff. And what it's doing is it's getting used to, it's marrying itself to the metal. Shiny's not bad. It's marrying itself to the metal. The barrel is marrying itself to the frame and the inside of the slide. If you see the inside of the slide, you see the shiny where the barrel lugs are. That's the barrel marrying itself to it so that it'll run even smoother. Because they tell you not to oil it. And that's what I did. I didn't oil it. So we'll be back. All right. We've brushed everything off. And look at that. This was a brand new brush. And this is just from brushing it off just to get the dust off. All that dirt just comes off. That's just dust. So, all right, let's get this out of here. This over to the side here. I have my Hoppy's number 9. I have it in this little bottle. I have my lubricating oil when it comes time for that. I have a bore snake for the very end, so I don't have to use as many patches because they can get expensive. I have a toothbrush. I have a whole bunch of these because my wife's a hospital worker and I've been in a hospital so many times. I get tons of these. So I have that. And then I have my my military, I forget what it's called, M9 brush, whatever it's called. You know, I have this that helped me to get into different little tight spaces. I have a couple different size paint brushes. I have my toothpicks on sticks. I like these. I have my LSA for oiling the rails only. I have a pistol caliber, pistol size, I should say, short size cleaning rod. It spins, should always have one like that, and it's got a 9mm bronze brush on the end. And then I have this, came from this plastic little jag thing, came from the with the gun. I'm just not using the nylon brush. That's the only thing I'm not using. It nice and wet with the hoppies, so I can really get that bore nice and wet inside. So that's really wet. I mean, really, really wet. So I can get that inside, and you know, I'll rub some of this outside first. Some of this on the outside. And then I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to run this through the bore. See how much it's dripping all over the place. And I'm twisting it as I bring it in. Bring it out. And it's actually not that dirty. I'm surprised. And I'm going to bring it back through the other way. And then I'm going to pull it out of here. And because this isn't that dirty and I just want to get this cleaner on here, I'm going to wipe it on the barrel. Especially get this end piece, because that really gets dirty. So I'll get that soaking so that that gets clean. It's got in the lugs. I'm going to wipe that feed ramp and around it with this one patch. You know, like I say, you know, all this is just dirty, 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 dirty. So, all right. Now we're just going to, since we got that wiped and we got the inside is nice and wet, I have a trash can below me. I'm actually not going to throw these in the trash can because I want to put them in something else so that I can put them outside, because the wife does bitch. It is what it is. I think we all know that. It's weird, you know, she doesn't like the smell of hoppies, but she does like the smell of ballistol, which I think ballistol smells a lot stronger than hoppies does. And it's a different kind of smell. It's a more chemical smell, I think. So, okay. I want to wipe down. I don't have to wipe down the whole slide. Basically the front. Because there wasn't too much that I can see for me to get all the way back here in the back. Try to save myself a little bit of trouble. I think that's far enough. I have it because it was mostly all up here in the front. And I got in here. You can see a little bit dirty, but it's not that dirty, surprisingly. And I think a lot of that's why I like to do it on a towel so I can wipe my hand off. I think a lot of the reason that it doesn't look that, it's not that dirty, wiping some of it in here in this frame, all in here. I keep it away from the trigger mechanism simply because I don't want to get hoppies in there. I don't want oil in there. Not trigger, the hammer mechanism and all that. Yeah, I don't want a lot of this cleaner to get in there. I don't want a lot of oil to get in there because it collects dust. I get a little bit, do it gently on the rails and stuff like that. But I try to keep away from the springs and things like that. And I've gotten in here, and you can see how that's gotten, dirty, and eventually I will wipe some of that out. So let me get a smaller patch. I fold it in half. Let me see about putting this in here. A little bit more, well, not a lot. So I'm thinking, putting a little bit too much on. And I'm going to down in here. I'm just going to wipe it around inside the magazine well. From what I can see, turn it. So it looks like a little bit of dirt. Remember, there was 200 rounds through this thing. So I'll wipe that. Make sure I get in here around the spring. And then I'll wipe all that out. And it just looks a little dirty in there, but not too bad. You can see how it isn't too bad on this this pad here. Now, the one thing I do want to do is I want to put it inside this frame, and I want to run it down these inside that rail. There's a rail here. There's a rail there. So I just want to run it inside that rail with those little brushes just to get some cleaning fluid in there. And remember, we got a little bit of the oil in there from when we put a little bit of that LSA. Looks clean back here. It's more up in the front, and it's not a whole lot. I just want to double check it. I keep dropping it. You can see the line there. See that line? So that's the dirt that was just in the rail. Get that carbon, get it loosened up, get it cleaned up. It's looking good. It's already looking clean. It's just a matter of wiping that out. And you can see, look at that. You can see the line. That's the dirt that was in that rail. So we put that aside. We're going to get another clean patch. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold this in half now. And then we're going to attack the frame. These are a little light and loose. I don't want too much because I want to be careful. I don't want to get this fluid inside. But inside and outside of this rail is dirty. First place I'm going to start, because I know it's dirty, is inside of here. Spin it. It's the best that I can. See in there, that's dirty. And inside that, where the barrel feeds. Just bring it back and forth, get some cleaning stuff in there. And we'll do inside of here. Get all that carbon loosened up. Since we brushed it out, anything that's in there is a little rough. We're going to, on this side, there's nothing on this side. I'm going to run it right down here. Right down this side. Because there's nothing on this side for it to jam into. Take it out. Use my finger to wipe a little bit in here. Just to get it in there and get these sides. Dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Now, I want to be careful where the firing pin comes out. I don't want anything to get inside of there. Nothing. So I am actually going to be gentle with this, because I don't want any cleaning solution going inside. So I'm going to clean this. As I can see it, I'm going to clean around it. Nothing near that hole, all around it. I don't want anything going into that firing pin chamber. And cleaning and getting in there and removing oils and stuff to help that move, because getting that firing pin out is not the easiest thing in the world. And I can see the extractor. So I'm able to get around that. But just to show, all I did was wipe around it. I didn't even go near the hole. I just wiped around the face of it. So let me grab one of these others so I don't use, grab a couple of these Q-tips. Some people don't like using Q-tips, and I don't know why. You know, they really help you stop getting stuff in places that you don't want it. And this is really, you know, around this firing pin is really filthy. But the Q-tips stop because you're not putting so much cleaning solution on. I should be showing that. You're not putting so much cleaning solution on it that it's going in the hole. Look how dirty that's getting. So I'm going to let that sit a little bit more on this Q-tip and run it down this side. This looks like it's okay. Alright, so you can see that that's dirty, dirty, dirty. So let me put this to the side here. Now I'm going to get a patch. I'm going to get a bigger patch and put it in my hand. I'm going to clean the outside of the slide. Concentrate on the face. The entire slide is, I know it's filthy because I can see it on there. Might be hard to see on the camera, but I know it's filthy because I can see the gray. Alright, now I want to once again, there's rails here on the outside. That's the one side. You can see that line. Shows you how dirty them rails are. Alright, set that to the side. Everything's got some stuff on it. I'm going to use this toothbrush, just scrub it a little bit. Scrub it up. Loosen all that crud. But it's not so wet that it's getting inside of anything that it shouldn't be getting into. That's good. Now this side of here. This is not that dirty because we kept it dry. So it's not that dirty. You can see it looks, already looks nice and clean. I haven't worked that hard. Scrub up the front, get in any of these grooves. That carbon off of there. Okay. I'm going to scrub the outside of the barrel. Scrub the breech and the feed ramp, the lugs. Get them brushes in there. It'll be time to run some patches through after I wipe off the outside. Look at that, this was a clean brush. We got the towel, you wipe it on the towel. Okay. I'm going to use a big patch. And we're going to fold it in half. Get this ready. So it's ready, and we're going to use this brush. We're going to put a little bit cleaner on the brush. Just a couple drops. And we're going to run it through. And you make sure that when you run it through, I go slow. All the way through. Then come back. All the way out and back in. All the way out and back in. Now you can feel it, and it feels nice and smooth. And it's clean. It's clean. So I'm going to set this back aside. And I have dry patch. Before we use the dry patch, I'm going to use this rag here. I'm going to wipe down outside of this barrel, wipe everything down. We've scrubbed it, we've used everything clean, we're wiping everything down. Make sure you get the muzzle end, just like put your finger and let it, see that round black circle? You want to get that clean, try it in a different spot if you have to. It's getting cleaner and cleaner. Okay, I'm going to run a patch through it because I think this looks clean to me. So let me run a patch. Probably going to be a couple patches through it. I'm going to spin it so that it wraps around this. And I'm going to spin it as it goes in. Okay. You see that dirt? It's not that much dirt on that patch. I'm actually going to spin it the opposite way, bring it through. Now I'm going to get another one. See, I like to spin it, especially when I have like just a plastic jag like this, because when I spin it, you know that you're getting all the surfaces. It's spinning around in there. it's like getting clean, 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 clean. Wipe a couple times. Yeah, that's not hardly dirty at all. Now's the time where you start saving your patches, at least for your barrel. You take this bore snake and you run this bore snake through. So you run the bore snake through, get a good hold of it, pull through. You're going to have the bristles come through, and you're just going to pull that through. All right. Now I'm going to try to run another dry patch. I'm going to run a big dry patch through. Fold it in half, like I did before. Alright, and we're going to run another dry patch through after that bore snake. That bore snake can be a lifesaver with saving on patches. Look at that, look at it. There's nothing on it at all. It's clean. It's clean. No dirt at all. And I happen to have here, let me show you, I have a bore light. Look in that barrel, look at that. Try to get it so it's not quite as bright. Look, this is what I was talking about that those guys were talking about. If I show it this way, no I can't. I show it this way. You can see if I pull it away. Look, there you go. See it? Mirror. See how shiny it is? All the way around. Mirror finish. That is cold hammer forge. And I know the inside of this barrel is clean. I can take this patch out of here. This patch is clean, like I just picked it up. There's nothing on it at all. Here it is. Look at it. And I'm going to wipe it around the outside because I've already used it, so I got to throw it away anyway. Wipe it around the outside. Wipe it around the breech. Nice, good, heavy wipe. Around the lug. On that feed ramp. Really rub with my finger on that feed ramp. And I also, you see me using rubber gloves. I use rubber gloves simply because I have a lot of ailments. And the last thing I need is to be exposed to certain chemicals that are in these cleaners. Acetate, kerosene. Everything else you can think of, that could be in there. I don't need that getting on my skin. It may not irritate my skin, but it very well can irritate. It can get through your skin, and then it goes into your bloodstream. And I have enough problems. Look at that. Can't ask for a cleaner than that. I mean, it's never going to come out white, ever. You'll never have it come out so that it looks like, you just picked up a brand new patch. But it's clean. This is a clean barrel. That's not dirty at all. That's acceptable. That is acceptable. We've got the dirt off. So now we're going to put it in a nice safe place over here. And now it's time to use this rag that's very basically clean. I'll wipe down the outside of this frame. Wipe down the outside first. And I'm going to use this brush to get in these little crevices. When it comes to cleaning my guns, I can be, really, anal about it. I could sit here all night and keep on cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. But I've kind of learned over the years, I don't need to do that. There's only so clean you're going to get it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rag, put it into a point like this, and I'm going to stick it in this magazine well from the top, and then I'm going to pull it straight through the gun. That just cleaned and dried everything on the inside, and I'm going to do it a couple times. Nothing wrong with that. Bring it back and forth. Back and forth. Now I'm going to wipe off the back here. And wipe off the hammer. And all that in there. And then I'm going to get this clean patch. And I'm going to run this with this brush, this thin little brush. I'm going to run it on these inside of these rails to get any dirt that was left in these rails after I put the Hoppy's number 9 cleaning or cleaner in there. Run it through again. One more time. This is dry now. Dry patches, run it through this rail again. One more time until it's clean. Keep it in that rail. Because carbon in your rails, the problem with one of the things that I concentrate on the most is the rails are where you get your most friction. The two pieces of metal, metal on metal, at least with this gun, rides on these rails. See, there's still a little bit of dirt coming out. I have to try the other side. It looks clean, but there's still a little bit of dirt coming out. But the reason I fixate on these rails is because when you have carbon mixing with a little bit of oil, it turns into a paste. And when it turns into a paste, now what you're doing is, if you've ever gone to clean something, you wanted to scrub something, give it a nice light scrub with not too harsh, and you get baking soda and you add water to it and it becomes a paste and it's gritty. Well, when it's gritty, when you have grit like that riding in the rails like this, back and forth every time you're shooting, and it's gritty, it works like sandpaper. That will rub and clean your, it'll wear out your rails. It'll completely it'll wear the metal down. Because it'll act like sandpaper. Because it's gritty. You gotta work. but your tolerances won't be as tight. And that rail is clean. It's clean. Everything here is clean. I'm not getting anything anymore. Very, very light that you can't help. You're always going to get a little bit of, you're never going to get completely white. Get that, any dust in there. Now we have to concentrate on cleaning everything out of the slide. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wipe the slide down. Wipe everything off of it. As clean as we can get it. Wipe it all down, get all that dirt off of it. Alright, now you see that slide, the outside of that slide is very clean. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, use it as a pointer, stick that rag in there. That's going inside where the barrel is, and this is plastic. And then I'm going to turn it. That's going to be nice and clean. It's a hard place to get. You can see some dirt coming off of that. So I'll find a nice clean spot for the rag. And stick it back in that barrel. Opening. Take the plastic, try to get it in there. This plastic never hurts any steel. Back and forth, twist it back and forth like that. This is what I mean by being anal. Most people wouldn't even do this. I do. Take it out. It's clean. Now I'm going to try to do it in this little lug part here. Try to find a nice clean spot on this rag. And these rags, I don't really save these rags because there's no reason I need to save them. Because I have a whole bunch of new ones. I just bought new flannel, nice rags. And the wife doesn't want to put them. So what this is where the recoil spring goes in. So I just wanted to clean that, make sure there's no carbon in it. Now I'm going to take a clean patch. And we're back to rails again, because this has a rail, and it's metal, and this is on the outside of the gun. This rides on the inside, so I want this rail nice and clean. Take this rag, use my finger, make this inside out, and this will all be clean. I'm going to get this face, I forget what they call this, the breech face, where the firing pin comes out. I'm going to get that. Look at that. See? You get a lot. So let me find another clean spot. That dirt out of there. It's already coming cleaner. Find another clean spot and do it again. All you need to do is with your finger. It's the best thing to get it in there. And it's clean because I can see it's shiny. I can see My extractor is clean. There's nothing caught in there. And now I'm going to take a clean pad. I use my brush. Put it in there. Get it. Scrub back and forth here. If you can see that. Back here. See, look at that dirt coming out of there. A lot of dirt in there. Alright. Another pad. Do it again. That side's clean. Let's do this other side. I'm gonna try with the skinnier brush to get that in there. Alright, there's the pad. That's clean. Once I'm going to use this same pad, I'm going to run it on the inside of here, along the sides here. It's clean. Clean, clean, clean. This almost is probably cleaner than it was when I bought it. You'd be surprised how dirty these guns are when you first buy them. You'd be surprised. Alright, now I'm just going to take, because I only have a couple pads here, I'm going to take a little, just a little, a couple drops. Alright, and we got dirt on the end of that spring. And we're just going to rotate the spring like it's a screw. Let it screw its way out and get it clean. You'd be surprised, you can get a lot of dirt on that too. See how it's going in the grooves? You pinch it and it goes through like a screw. And then you can do it the other way too. And then once you get so far, you grab it. You got it pinched in there, so the whole rag is in there with the cleaning fluid. It's wiping everything down. And you just take it out before you get to the end so it doesn't get pinched. There you go. Now, the spring is clean. I'm going to use a little bit of this to wipe it on this plastic. It doesn't really even need it, but why not? Ain't going to hurt it. It's there. And I'm going to take this patch, put a drop or so on it. And I'm going to wipe down the outside of the takedown latch. And on this little, this all off of here. Okay. And then we're going to wipe it off. Put a clean spot of the rag. Right. good. We got a clean gun. Yes, we do. Last thing I will do is I will put a couple drops, 4, 5, 6 drops. Put it on a pad. Always take care of your magazines. If your magazines don't work, all you got is a paperweight. Wipe down the followers, and then you wipe them off with a clean rag. You only need to take the springs out, clean the springs on the inside, maybe every 1,000 rounds. This has only had 200. I really didn't even have to do it. I only did it for the video. All right, you see, look, you see the dirt came off. There's carbon on it, so the dirt's off. And we're going to the clean area. It's going to wipe it off. Now, time for a little bit of lubrication. This is all we need, and it's mineral oil. It won't hurt your skin. And we're going to wipe down the inside of the slide. And then we're going to wipe it off. And you will notice that when you put the mineral oil, you will even get a little bit more carbon off of it too. It'll come up with the dark patches, stuff like that. See, it looks a little dirty. So the mineral oil kind of cleans it. I keep it away from that firing pin. Wipe it on the outside of the gun, outside of the frame. All that stuff. Just wipe it on down. Just wipe everything down with the mineral oil. And then we're going to wipe it all off. So there's just a small little bit on there. A little bit on the frame. It'll keep it looking nice and clean. Yes, it's over oiling right now. And there's some spots I'm not going to worry about putting it. Just I'm going to put it up here on the top of the frame when I put it inside, because I don't know when I'm going to shoot this gun again. And I don't put anything back here. Nothing goes in the hammer thing, just in here. That's it. And I'm going to wipe all that back down. We're going to wipe down the outside of the barrel. Everything on that barrel. So there's that. Wipe my hands off a little bit. I'm going to get another small blur patch. Okay, sorry about that. My camera ran out of battery, and I'm not sure where it cut off, and I looked up and noticed that it was off. So, you know, I wanted to just show you the end results. Here's the end results. Here's the frame. It's back to the way that it was when it was brand new. What you're seeing here on the sides here There's a little bit of oil I can rub in with my finger. That's the mineral oil. And that's on there because I'm setting stuff down on this towel. And this towel is dirty and grimy and oily and stuff like that. So set that there. Here's the slide. If you can see there, I'm going to put a little bit of light on the subject just in case. You can see that. See how clean that is? You know, like I say, I get, really intense when it comes to how clean this stuff gets. Because this stuff is expensive for me. I'm sure it's expensive for all of you. So everything is clean as the day that I bought it. Now, I do have, which I can show you, and then when I look at this tape, I might have to cut some stuff out. It's like a mirror, if you can see that. That's a mirror inside of there. I know it's a little bright. How's that? That's probably better without it. That's a mirror. Now, there is a light coat of oil inside. There's a light coat of oil outside. Microscopic film of oil on everything. Not so much the outside of the frame and the inside of the frame. The only thing that I do have to do that I haven't done yet, that you've seen me do before, that I'm not going to bore you with putting it in there, is these rails here. As you can see, these rails, the inside of these rails, I'll be using this LSA and putting this on there with a paintbrush, because that's a high temperature synthetic oil, and when it comes to run, I don't have to worry about that. There's a little bit of oil in this lug. Lug groove for the, say it, a little bit. I'm going to leave that in there, but I'm going to make sure that that's out before I shoot this again. The less oil that's on your gun when you shoot it, other than, I like to put it on the rails, but they say, I've talked to, like I said, I talked to those old guys, and they say the less oil, the better. And they also say, and you can look it up, just look it up. You can read it about it. You can look at that Gun Blue 490, his channel. Find the video that he has about cleaning the pistols. He doesn't put any oil at all on his pistols. And he says, that's where I got the term from. He goes, but you see the silvering, like you see the silvering that's starting to get on this barrel from it going through, right? That is not the steel wearing out. That's that coating coming off, but it's not wearing the steel out. What it's doing is marrying the steel to the gun. So what it does, and that's what the slide does, it slides back and forth in there, and you'll see it starting to get that black coating off, and it may be turning shinier, like you see. It's rubbing up against the steel. It's marrying the steel. The steel, gun steel, is so hard. It's not going to wear out unless you keep carbon. You don't get all the carbon out, and you have oil in it. Then it makes a paste, and that paste is, almost the chair came back, and that paste is gritty. It's just like having baking soda in water. and feel it with your fingers. You feel like it's gritty. Well, if you put that stuff like that gets in your gun, it works like sandpaper as it goes back. That will wear the metal out because now you're sanding it. But other than that, keep the carbon out, keep the dirt out, and just keep a very light coat on your rails and leave everything else dry, and your gun will stay cleaner. You don't need to oil everything to death. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I know this ran long. I may cut some stuff. I'm sorry for the battery dying. But all I was basically doing was just wiping everything down. I was at the point of where I already cleaned it and scrubbed everything loose, and I was just wiping things down, wiping the dirt off, and then giving it a light coat of oil. So you really didn't miss too much. So, okay, see you next time. Bye-bye now.